What's up, everyone? Welcome to Level 7. It's time for another episode of the Agents of Fandom podcast. I'm your host, TJ Zwarych, and we have a big week ahead of us. We're in the midst of a big week. We have a piece of content dropping here on our YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts every single day. On Monday, we dropped our Fantastic Four First Steps interview with director Matt Shakman, now streaming up on the YouTube channel. So check it out. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on what we have coming the rest of the week. We're going to talk some Marvel and DC announcements tonight. Wednesday morning, we have a very special live edition of the Comic Corner where Fat Thor will be doing an interview live with Storm author
Murawa Ayadele.
Thank you. I was having trouble saying all words, and then as soon as I tried to get that one out, I couldn't get past Mur. But thank you for that. They're going to be live at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure you check that one out. Then Thursday, Damon will be back for the regular episode of the Comic Corner. And then Friday, we are going to be doing our live Fantastic Four review at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so that Damon is finished work, getting everything he needs to get done, getting some dinner in, and we're going to talk some Fantastic Four, hopefully late enough so that people, even if they're just seeing it on Friday night, can start filing in after the fact. And I've teased my co-host here a couple times. He's joining me. As per always, we have Damon Gray. How you doing, Damon?
Fantastic.
Come on, not again. You used it once. I know you're using it again Friday. You can't use it today.
The whole joke is you do it again and you say it again. That's the whole bit, TJ.
Well, I'm super. So how about that? Joining us as well today.
Are you super, man?
We have our friend Richard Nebens from Agents of Fandom and The Direct. How you doing, Rich?
Doing good, doing pretty good. It's been a great week. It's gonna get even better. We are finally in the month that we've been waiting for a good couple of years now. I mean, like the start of the DCU, the Fantastic Four finally coming to the MCU. I'm pumped.
I gotta say, I haven't seen you in person for a while, and that beard is getting big, my friend. It's like almost wrapping into the headphones. Like it almost looks like a perfect circle with the headphones up there.
Oh my god, I do have to trim it because I'm sure you guys know it's starting to get to the point where it's like I'm tasting it a little bit, and that's not fun. But no,
I know. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't get to that level, so I can't relate.
I always joke. We always joke around with Matt at the Direct. Shout out Matt Remke. His always takes forever to come in, and he always kind of jabs me because I can grow this in like 2 weeks. It's ridiculous.
All right. Well, we are excited to have you on the show today. Before we start talking news, though, I do want to have another segment of What You Watching, because we skipped it last week, Damon. I was busy for the Fantastic Four primer. I had to speed on through it, but I've actually been watching some stuff now, and so I'm excited to dive back into this. Rich, we'll start with you. What you been watching?
Nothing really new in terms of watching, but one cool thing I have been getting into on the video game front. I got into a little bit of an oldie but a goodie. I got the Kingdom Hearts series on PlayStation recently. Just bought like a whole pack of like 6 or 7 of them for super cheap, and I've been like speed running through those over the last couple of weeks, just kind of going through old stuff that I used to play when I was a kid. And I finally got to 3 recently for the first time, so that's been a lot of fun. And other than that, just prepared for Superman, prepping for Fantastic Four. Probably going to go through like a rewatch of the old Fantastic Four movies here soon, and it should be a fun week.
Damon, how about you? What you been watching? What you been reading?
I'll do a little different this week. I'll do a what's I've been listening to, because I was going to do this last week. Because last week I came off of a local festival called Shoreline Summer Festival here in Connecticut, here in New Haven, and it's put on by a guy named TJ Redding. And I have to say this, that was the most fun I've had at a music festival in so long. It was like a pop punk type of festival here in New Haven, and there's just so many. It's mostly local, so many amazing local bands. You get to meet so many people, see so many local bands, and I go out to so many small venues around here, and it was just really freaking cool to see like people I've seen like bars and church halls, just like on a legit big stage. And there's just like something really special about this. So I had an absolute blast. And then I was then later, TJ, I think I introduced this to you at some point. Maybe I sent you a link to it or somewhere. I sent you the video of a band I just like randomly found where I swear to God, Gerard Way cloned himself because this band called The Requiem, their lead singer is great and sounds strangely like Gerard Way, but they're
And
really
they don't look alike, but they have the same
No.
style. Like,
It's-
you know what I mean? Like they don't like if you said this is Gerard Way's secret third brother we didn't know about, that wouldn't surprise me.
no, this isn't like a secret father scenario like we kind of have the Smashing Pumpkins with MCR. It's not like that, but they sound very, very similar. So if you're into that type of music, listen to their Requiem because they put out a new deluxe album of their only album, and it's great. I've seen people call them Three Cheers, the band, and I get it.
I love it. That is good stuff. I definitely have to check it out. I haven't looked into it beyond that video you sent me, so I'll definitely give them a listen. I have watched a ton of movies. I finished an entire series, and I've started playing a new video game. And so I'm going to try and rip through all of them. The series is called The Residents. It's on Netflix. It did not get renewed for a second season, but I think that's okay. It works as kind of like a limited series. It contains one series television show. It's a murder mystery. And it's like your classic bring in the world's best detective to come solve an unsolvable crime. And I love a murder mystery. I love a whodunit. And so that one was a lot of fun. I recommend checking it out. Giancarlo Esposito is in that one, among with a couple other really strong actors, really strong cast. So check out The Residents on Netflix. I watched The Amateur on it's on Disney Plus for me in Canada. It might be a Hulu one in the States. But I really, really loved the first 2/3 of this movie. And then it really fell flat for me. Kind of without getting into any like big spoilers, I'll keep it vague. It really just seemed like it was setting up something. He does a bunch of like line crossing along the way to become like a certain type of person. And then at the end, it's almost like, I don't want to be that person. And then it's like, you just kind of move on. It's like all the stuff you just didn't happen. And it's like, well, no, that stuff still happened. And it just kind of, it felt like a really, really good action movie for the first 2/3. And then it just fell flat for me. But overall, like I wouldn't not recommend it. I would definitely say like I enjoyed watching the most of the movie, and people may feel differently about the ending than I did. I've been doing a lot of Fantastic Four rewatching, and so I am not going to rewatch Fanforstic because that is the, like we talked about last week, Damon, I think the worst superhero movie I've ever watched.
I need you to watch so many more worse ones.
There isn't so many more worse ones. I'll give you that Howard the Duck might be worse, but there's not so many more worse ones.
I've only seen
watch the Sony movies.
I've only seen the first like 20-30 minutes of Fanforstic. I think it came on TV one time. I got to suffer through the rest at least once just to say.
Oh, see, the first 20 minutes aren't terrible.
Oh,
it gets
God, that's the good part.
That's the good part.
Damn it.
Damon, I would rather watch your favorite movie, New Mutants, 10 times in a row than have to watch Fanforstic again. 10 times consecutive than having to watch Fanforstic.
I never said it was my favorite movie.
It's your favorite movie of
underrated, overhated movie.
Well, my favorite overhated movies are the original Fantastic Four movies from the early 2000s, and I really enjoy both of them. I rewatched them both, and I really enjoy both of them. And yeah, here in chat, reminding us that Magic says a slur in that New Mutants movie. We love Anya Taylor-Joy's portrayal of Magic. We don't love that Magic was written to be racist.
I mean, Magic's not a great person. I think we kind of forget.
That's fair.
He's a very traumatized individual who has a lot to work through.
Your typical, good guy hero. She does some good things, but she does some questionable things as well. But still, why throw that in the movie? Regardless, we're moving on. I watched the Fantastic Four movies, Rise of Silver Surfer and the OG, and I really enjoyed my rewatch. I've started throwing on the 90s Fantastic Four cartoon, and holy shit, is it ever corny. It is just so cheesy. They have Ben just being so stupid. Like,
God.
Ben has no intelligence whatsoever in this show. He
So
just
he's
wants
dumb
to
as a
fight.
rock.
So
He's dumb as a rock,
dumb as a rock.
exactly. And so I've been doing lots of Fantastic Four rewatching, and I've been playing this video game that I brought up last time we were doing Whatcha Watching called Expedition 33. Charlie Cox is the lead voice in it. I've been having a decent time playing it, but it keeps making my PlayStation overheat. It shuts down my PlayStation. I Googled, and this is a thing that's been happening to other people as well.
Just that game?
And apparently there's, and maybe this is a thing with like PS5 just starting to get a little bit older, and there's a new one coming out, so they're, you know, maybe they're conspiracy tinfoil hat going on. Maybe they're starting to shut them down on us. But
End of their lifespan.
Adam was playing another game, and it happened to him as well. But I've been playing this Expedition 33 game, and multiple times now I Googled, and it's been happening to other people playing this game. Once you get like past like an hour, up to 2 hours, maybe, the PlayStation just gets too hot, shuts the whole thing down. You got to unplug it and plug it back in to be able to turn it back on. And it even still yells at you at the beginning. It does a thing where it's like, hey, don't turn me off like that. Don't unplug me without turning me off. And it's like, I didn't. That was you. But enjoying the game, other than the fact that it seems to be breaking my PS5.
Nice job with the gaslighting, PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. I did just purchase Baldur's Gate. I've never played Baldur's Gate 3, but I just bought it for the first time. I'm going to dive into that after Expedition 33. And so that is what I've been watching and what I've been playing. Let's start diving into the DC and Marvel news. We'll do the DC side of things first because there is not a whole lot to talk about, but there is some really, really interesting stuff. Kind of what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the Agents of Fandom Twitter page here. And if you're not already following us on socials, at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else, now is the perfect time to do so as you're, you know, hitting the like button, subscribing, all that fun stuff. I'll go through kind of all of these and I'll mention everything that is newsworthy, but I won't stop and ask questions about the stuff that aren't like, when there's not much to talk about it. I'm not going to stop it. You know, I'm just going to keep going through things as we go, because otherwise we'd probably be here for a couple hours, and there's no sense doing that. Starting off with the DC side of things, James Gunn said he will be seeing his first cut of Supergirl next week. That, of course, comes out next year. Very, very excited for Supergirl to come out. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, that is. Or I guess it's not called Woman of Tomorrow anymore, but we do know that that's the comic they're adapting. Damon, keeping it spoiler free, why should people be excited for this movie?
It's the best Supergirl story. There you go. It's the best Supergirl story. It's if done correctly, this is going to be the Gore the God Butcher story that we deserved in Thor 4 and didn't get.
Keeping it going, we have Damon. I've been excited to talk about this with you. I don't know if you saw it, but James Gunn said he doesn't really have any interest in doing Legion of Superheroes in the DCU. And why? Because he hates time travel. That rings a bell.
Yeah, baby. See, James Gunn knows what's up. Time travel's stupid.
James Gunn also said he is close to greenlighting a new TV series that we will find out about in the next, or he's greenlighting it in the next few days. I don't know if we're going to find out about it in the next few days, but very exciting stuff. Do we have any predictions of what that could be? Both of you shaking your head, so I'll just move on to the next one.
Yeah, I got nothing.
James Gunn says he is looking to fast track Wonder Woman and Batman as soon as they get it right to make sure that they're doing it. And so we had Wonder Woman not originally in the original slate of movies and TV shows that he announced. There was Paradise Lost, the show about the Amazons that maybe she would be in, but not an official Wonder Woman movie. Now the Wonder Woman movie is going to be getting made. The script is already getting started, and it's going to be from Anna Nogueira, who is writing Supergirl, who has finished writing Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. She is supposedly either finished or almost finished writing the Teen Titans script for a new Teen Titans movie. Now she is going to be doing Wonder Woman as well. So that gives me a lot of confidence for especially Supergirl, but these movies in general, for them to see one script and go, oh shit, she's got it. She has got it. And just give her this contract to dive into all of them. Damon, starting with you, anything else on the DC side of things you want to touch on or expand upon before we switch over to Marvel?
I think it just shows the trust that Gunn and crew have in her. So, and I think that's great. I'd find it very easy to adapt One of Tomorrow into either a TV show or a movie. Like that comic is just like amazing. So have a little bit of a crush there. But when it comes to the Teen Titans thing, I'm just fascinated about that because I've gone back and forth with you about this. Who is going to be on that team if we already know Dick is Nightwing?
Mhm.
And are we going to see like the cutest contract type of Teen Titans team that we see in like the animated movie where it's like you have an older Starfire, an older Dick with a younger Damian and a younger Beast Boy and a younger Raven type of thing? I think that is more of an interesting thing on who's going to be on that team.
Who do you think is going to be I because the DCU has been already shown to be very lived in with all of these different metahumans, all these different heroes involved. I think we're going to have a small core that it focuses on, but I think especially by the end of the movie, there's going to be a lot more involved for like a greater team with the main core that we focus on. But who do you think will be the main core?
I think it will be Dick leading the team, maybe with a Starfire and or a Barbara Gordon type of role helping him out. And then I would like to see like a younger Raven with a younger Beast Boy. I would like to save Cyborg for like Justice League potentially or something along the lines of that. And Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle, I think, is a perfect addition for this. One, because there is precedent to a story with the age range they're telling with him included in it. But also, we already have our Blue Beetle established in the DCU. He's going to have an animated show on top of it. So I do really think that's a great idea to include him. I am really banking on the story in Teen Titans being, I think it was spoilers for Superman. If you have not seen it, plug your ears really quick. Lex is talking about how when he did a clone, he tried to use Superman's DNA, but the thing was too stupid. And so I think what would like it be the next thing on that list? Yeah, he's going to Bel Rev, but is he going to stay there? Maybe he'll even be in control there. I think the next step would be using Superman's DNA with himself. What does that create? We know that makes Connor Kent Superboy. And so I think the plot of the Teen Titans movie might be similar to kind of how Young Justice starts of we got to go rescue this super dude because he doesn't know who he is and he wants to destroy us, and maybe let's start off by fighting him and eventually end up recruiting him.
It is pretty similar also to the Titans show that occurred on like the DC Infinite platform that then became like HBO Max type of thing, whatever. But that is also pretty similar to that. So I would be a little surprised if they go that route. There's a good chunk of Titan stories, Teen Titan stories that they can use. They can just pick the layer or they can make up their own. It's fine.
I'm just latching on to the idea that that was a little Easter egg for the future when Lex said that in the Superman movie, that was a nod to us getting some Superboy. Rich, anything else on the DC side of things you want to talk about before we swap to Marvel?
All I'll say is I am very, very encouraged by the start of this new DCU. I rewatched Creature Commandos ahead of Superman, and I haven't shared my public thoughts on Superman outside of my own review on my Twitter page, but I loved that movie. I thought it was one of the better superhero movies we've gotten in recent years, and I think James Gunn is off to a fantastic start with this universe. Peacemaker is probably my favorite DC property in a long, long, long time, and I can't wait to see what they do for season 2 next month. And yeah, all this news about Anna Nogueira with Supergirl and Wonder Woman. I can't wait to see who ends up getting cast as Wonder Woman and Batman. Maybe in the next 6 months, year or so, because we've got all our theories. I wrote an article on potential castings for Wonder Woman over on The Direct if you guys want to check that out. It's a good time to be both a DC fan and a Marvel fan, and we haven't been able to say that in a long time. So I am so pumped for what's coming.
There are so many Wonder Woman fan casts that I've seen that I don't mind the idea of, like Adria Arjona, May Kalamaui, Katie O'Brien.
All of them are on my list. Yep.
But I do kind of really want to. one things that I've seen a lot of like hardcore Wonder Woman fans peddling, and I gotta say I kind of agree with them. It would be pretty cool to see a height accurate Wonder Woman, like we've been clamoring for a height accurate Wolverine. Give us a little short King, which we'll talk about. But I would actually love to see. It is harder to, I think, find, but I mean,
drastically,
you can find anything if you look hard enough.
How tall is David Cornsweet?
6'4".
Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could get a Wonder Woman who was over 6 feet tall, like an actor who was 6 feet or more. Like, you know, with some boots on, you can give us a little bit of lift with some camera angles and have her be slightly taller than Superman, or at least close to the same height. But I would like to see them look fairly close and get a 6 foot tall plus Wonder Woman going here in the future. But let's swap over to the Marvel side of things, because Kevin Feige had himself a little press conference of his own. We had the Fantastic Four press conference this week with Feige, the directors, the producers, the cast, and our own Aisha Shabiz was at that one covering that for us. So she will have an article coming soon. And then I, of course, got to talk to Matt Shackman. You can find our interview up on the YouTube channel already. And Kevin Feige just went, after this stuff was done during the press day, he went, hey, let's put some people into the room. Let's have a chat. Ask me some questions. Keep it intimate, whatever you want. Then you guys can report on it. And we got a shout out to some of our own friends, Ron from POC Culture, Chris Killian from Comic Book. They were there. They were asking him some questions. And there was a lot. First things first, as we dive into it, Feige said that it was always in the cards. He was starting to realize that maybe Kang the Conqueror wasn't big enough. And so he had already begun having conversations with Robert Downey Jr. before Ant-Man 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania came out. He had already started talking to Robert Downey Jr. about this Doctor Doom idea. Damon, I will throw it to you first. Do you buy it? And what do you think about the pivot? Because I buy that he was talking to RDJ about planning this idea down the road, but I don't think it was the plan to make an immediate pivot right away. Jonathan Majors at the time, before we knew that he was doing some bad shit, this was the guy that everybody was talking about. He is the next big thing. This might be one of the very best actors in the world. He was the highlight of a poor movie in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. He was a highlight in Loki. He's a highlight in Creed 3 and all of these different movies. People were talking about how incredible he is. I don't really think that there was planned. I buy that they were maybe thinking about introducing RDJ as Doom down the line. I do not buy that it was a planned pivot. What do you think?
I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical about it. I feel like it's a hindsight thing, but I'm a bit skeptical.
Rich, how about you? Do you think are you buying what Kevin Feige's selling here?
I think I'm kind of in line with you. I buy that he was maybe looking at Downey for Doom in some capacity, because like the Secret Wars thing, I could totally buy, because correct me if I'm wrong, Doom is a huge part of Secret Wars. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So if they were going to do Secret Wars, I feel like they were going to have to cast Doom at some point, and I'm sure that he was thinking about that. But look, I remember when like the three of us and the whole Age of the Phantom crew saw Quantumania all together, which was amazing and one of my favorite memories. We all thought, Kang was really cool. He was on his way to big things. I can't imagine that they were thinking about completely going away from him that quickly. I could see them have, like I said, thinking about Doom in some capacity, but given the conversation that was happening about Ant-Man 3, like a month before everything went down, I'm not buying that part. Like, I love Feige, don't get me wrong, I'll defend the MCU to my dying day, but I'm not really buying all of that. I'm sorry.
Anything that after Ant-Man 3 and the reaction and the reception to it, I'd buy that. Anything beforehand, no, skeptical.
Well, I even buy that, like, even beforehand, maybe he had the idea of introducing him in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
But still, I don't think, like, Kang Dynasty was still going to be the next Avengers movie until this lawsuit stuff came out, and it'd be very difficult to convince me otherwise. But continuing our way up the list, Kevin Feige said that Sony, like paraphrasing, but essentially Sony has told him, hey, no Miles Morales until after our Spider-Verse movies. Then maybe we can have some Miles Morales in the MCU conversations. Rich, that does not surprise me considering anything Spider related, these Spider-Verse movies, that is the only good that Sony has done with this product in a long time.
Yep, you said it. I mean, my first instinct is obviously to say Sony sucks because, you know, they have, for the most part, with their Spider-Man movies outside of the Spider-Verse, you know, what is going to be trilogy. Look, obviously everybody wants Miles in the MCU. All of us, at least on this side of the conversation, really want to see Miles in the MCU. Now, given they have to do him right, they gotta find a way to do it, you know, either alongside Tom Holland or, you know, have Holland pass off the torch to whoever plays the new Miles.
And if you wait that long, then you kind of can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's still 2 years away. I mean, so we probably wouldn't even get a Miles movie till what, 20?
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking like Tom finishes out a trilogy and then Miles gets introduced in the third one and starts taking over
a second trilogy. Okay, yeah. I can absolutely see that. And I mean, the way they're churning out these Spider-Man movies, like obviously because they have to with Sony, that's only a few years away. And like we're going to have no idea who's going to play Miles in the MCU until then, because that kid's probably like 12 years old right now, maybe not even. But I mean, obviously I'm excited to see Miles come to Marvel Studios when that time comes. And I just hope for now, you know, Beyond the Spider-Verse turns out as good as we all hope it does. I mean, the first two movies were incredible. And it's so funny thinking about that too. Just quick side note before we go on. Did any of us believe that Beyond the Spider-Verse is coming out in March 2024?
No.
They hadn't even started filming this thing yet.
Yeah, they hadn't even started recording until like last year, like middle of last year or something. So I'm not surprised at all that it's taking till 27, because that's still a shorter time than it took between Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about this new Tom Holland one. My bad.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm not shocked at that either. But yeah, I'm not shocked at all that it's going to take so long to get this last Miles movie. But we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, especially when these movies are just absolutely doing groundbreaking animation and changing the game with each of these movies. Animation takes a long time, and really good animation takes an even longer time. So no surprises there. Damon, anything else on Miles before we keep it moving?
A lot of people are going to compare it to Spider-Verse when it eventually comes, and that is a lot of expectation.
A lot to live up to.
Kevin Feige says that there were originally 4 versions of the script for Marvel Studios' Blade. 2 were period pieces, 2 were not period pieces. He's ultimately decided that it is going to be a modern-day version of Blade. They didn't want to put out something that was just mediocre. They want it to be perfect. That is why it has taken so long. He didn't feel confident about the script. He didn't feel confident about the production. And he wanted to make sure that he didn't waste using Mahershala Ali for a really, really strong Blade movie. And he says Ryan Coogler eventually will not be involved in this when it does happen, but it is going to happen. Damon, give me your best prediction. When do we see Blade?
That's funny. This gives me... look, when it comes to like, there's been 4 versions of it and they're never happy with the script. I just find that rather humorous from the studio that just kind of like makes a movie without a script for the most part, and they just kind of like wing it as they do the movie.
That is one of these things that says they're
exactly. Yeah.
He says they're always adjusting, but Feige has said they have never gone into a Marvel movie without they've never begun filming without a fully completed script for a movie.
They've never started without a fully completed script.
It's every movie has had a fully completed script before beginning. It's just they're always adjusting because he's never satisfied.
Okay. All right. Zwarych. Sure. I don't know when we're getting this thing. 2028. 2020. Okay, that may be too long. I could see them theoretically start filming this thing next year, and it will be a post Secret Wars release.
I think definitely a post Secret Wars release, because that still gives them the opportunity to bring Wesley Snipes back one more time in Secret Wars, which I think they probably are going to do. Rich, what's your best guess? When do we get this movie?
I'm thinking at least 28, because I see no way possible that this is a multiverse saga movie right now, which is just unbelievable to me, considering they announced this before the Infinity Saga ended. Well, technically the month the Infinity Saga ended. Like, I remember Blade has been in development so long. I'm going to put this in perspective for you. Shout out Pierre. I could see it being a 2029 movie too, honestly. And thank you, Pierre, for that. Shout out to Direct. I had just started my writing career just after Blade was announced. Literally, I had not written an article before San Diego Comic-Con, maybe like 2. And that's how long it's been that this movie has been in development.
Went through a whole saga.
Yeah, an entire we are 2 phases into a new MCU saga, and there is still nothing on Blade. I understand that they want to get it right. Obviously, we want a good Blade movie, especially after 3, which was over 20 years ago now. But come on, man. We want a Blade movie.
I agree with you, but at the same time, this was from a time where it was not Iger, it was Chapek, right? And he was just pummeling out, I want us to announce
That's
all.
a good point, yeah.
I want to announce all of these movies.
When was this announced?
This was announced in San Diego Comic-Con 2019.
Okay.
This was part of the Chapek initiative of let's announce everything all at once. And they went all the way from this is the start of Phase 4 through Secret Wars, and announced way more than they should have. And that's why we don't have
Chapek wasn't in charge then.
When was
2020?
Well,
right.
the beginning of the initiative. Then it either way, I'm happy that I would rather quality over speed always.
Agreed.
And even though it sucks, it is one of those things where it's like it maybe will be better that it comes after a little bit of a reboot. Kevin Feige confirms that Ryan Coogler's priority is making Black Panther 3. He confirmed the reporting that John Bernthal will be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And he also says, and this is maybe I would say the second biggest thing that dropped from it, is Kevin Feige confirmed that Spider-Man Brand New Day will be a street level story. Yes, who knows? Maybe if it'll have some multiversal element, but Damon, our dream is alive of some Black Cat, maybe some Kingpin. I don't know. We might get our street level Spidey story.
Sure. Question mark. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. I really want it. I think I've gone back and rewatched all 3 movies.
As opposed to world-ending events was his exact
that's
quote.
fine. But I think we have to go back and we need a street-level Spider-Man movie. And I understand Tony Stark was a part of the first movie. But if you go back and rewatch that first movie, that is very street level.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm excited to get back to that, back to just like a New York focused story, much like that first one was, with a proper, I think this was said somewhere in that article, like a proper Spider-Man, where he is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be the first movie where he is, like, weirdly enough, truly Spider-Man, which I'm excited about.
Couldn't agree more. There has been rumors that the Hulk will be involved with this movie as well, and that's potentially part of the, again, rumored aspect of the agreement between Sony and Marvel, where Marvel has to include another MCU character in each of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. That's why it started with Nick Fury. That's why it was that's why it started with Iron Man. Then it was Nick Fury. Then it was Doctor Strange. And so it seems like it would be Hulk in this one. I'm fine with it as long as, like Pierre said in the chat, as long as it's a small part, as long as that's a minor part in the movie, I'm good with it. And it could give us the really cool comic book moment of like Hulk remembers who Peter Parker is. he wasn't there during the mind wipe thing. It was Banner. And so Hulk remembers, Banner forgot, but Hulk remembers. I think it'd be cool if we got that moment. Travis in chat says he could see Peter going back to college where Bruce is his professor. That could be a very thing. And he says he could turn him into Savage Hulk from potentially mixing with some Peter blood. I don't know about that, but I think that would be a really good way to have them meet is, you know, Bruce is back in Bruce form and not Professor Hulk or Angry Hulk. We saw he can make the switch in She-Hulk now. And so maybe he's doing some teaching. What do you think?
He was one of the he was up in a picture among those scientists that was in Peter's classroom early in Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm pretty sure he was up on the wall with like the Einsteins and all those other scientists that was in his classroom. So that would be kind of a cool like full circle moment, seeing, you know, them actually work together. But yeah, no, and like I think for me too, as much as obviously this is what we have to do to get Spider-Man in the MCU, we have to have these Avengers in there. I would rather this than anything Sony would give us with Peter Parker, because I think for the most part, the MCU has done a really good job with Spider-Man, with Tom Holland, with this version of Peter Parker that's in the MCU, given the restrictions that they've had to use. So I'm really excited. And like Damon said, I mean, I think this is going to be the most Spider-Man-y Spider-Man that we're going to have gotten in the MCU, and I can't wait to see that.
If we do get a real angry, rampaging Hulk, I agree that with Pierre's theory that it's going to be a Mr. Negative that gets them all fired up.
I'm still committed to and married to my little idea of the Venom suit and Peter going to Bruce about like almost the second voice he's hearing in his head, much like how Bruce had the second voice of the Hulk. And eventually that's how the Hulk does come out, as Peter's also losing it to the Venom suit, and Punisher's just kind of there to take both of them down.
Punisher's just there to cause chaos.
Well, he's there to take both of them down. There's monsters running around the city, and he's the Punisher.
I like that theory as well. I think I would have no problem at all with us getting a little bit of Black Suit Spider-Man there.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige reveals that Michael Waldron is helping the McFeely brothers on their script for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. He also says that they are in fact going to be slowing things down and focusing less on TV, which again, Damon, we talked about. Is that really the case when we're seeing the Punisher get put everywhere now? Doesn't seem like they're focusing less on TV to me. But as long as it's longer seasons and things that are releasing a new season each year, like Daredevil, to me, that is what's important. It's the biggest flaw of phases 4 and 5 is the introducing of all these new characters we fall in love with and then never knowing when we're going to see them again, or not even characters we fall in love with, but characters they tease in post-credit scenes, and then us having no idea when we're ever going to see them again. But Feige confirms that they have a 7-year plan going forward all the way to 2032, when it, of course, can move around. He says it's on magnets on his screen. Thunderbolts will not affect Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Kevin Feige calls Aman Vellani as Ms. Marvel one of the greatest bits of casting the MCU has ever done. Could not agree more.
We've only been saying that for
Let's
3
see her
years.
again, Kevin.
Exactly. Let's bring her up again. And a place that we could do that is a Young Avengers project, which he was asked about as well, if it is on the horizon. And he says it comes down to where's the best story and where is the best strange alchemy. Who would be fun to see them with? Each other, because that's what the Young Avengers are, but also mixing it up more. That's the most nothing response I have ever heard ever. Kevin Feige gives a lot of nothing responses, but that is a nothing response.
That's like a negative something.
That's
almost like we owe him something back.
That is a beautifully worded potato salad.
Yeah, that is a really, really fancy worded.
I do love the idea, and Pierre seems not happy about it, but I love his theory in chat where she's going to be part of this, the new XMen team, or at least part of the new movies with the X-Men in the future, because she was announced as a mutant not only in comics but in the MCU as well.
And just one real quick thing before we move on from Young Avengers, I want to shout out my wife on this because she has been pestering me for like 6 years that the Young Avengers are coming, and you're like, okay, like you're totally right, and I'm not going to disagree with you. But every single tease for the Young Avengers that we've gotten in the multiverse saga, the end of the Marvels, WandaVision, Doctor Strange, it's Young Avengers are coming. Young Avengers are coming. Young Avengers are coming. So I just want to shout out her for kind of being on the money with that. And I'm just waiting for them to get here so we can finally actually hear something legit about it.
The 32-year-old Young Avengers coming to somewhere near you.
Yeah.
Eventually. Maybe.
Yeah, it has to be called the champions at that point. Like, I do think
there's no way it's not going to be.
We're moving toward a branch with multiple different Avengers type teams, and we got to throw them in as the champions as their own kind of team here. Because Young Avengers is kind of, as much as you want to utilize the Avengers name for marketing purposes, they aren't young anymore. You kind of missed the boat on that one.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige was asked about all the different cameos that have introduced people like Eros, like Hercules, like Clea, and he just was like, "Hey, we just brought back Tim Blake Nelson. You never know when these people are going to come."
God, he's so good at saying absolutely nothing.
Exactly. And he was asked about characters like Moon Knight and the Eternals. He says, I don't know that it's any specific ones you just named, but yes, that is part of the plan. Characters we've introduced post Endgame will pop up again in some of the upcoming movies and beyond. To me, that means probably Moon Knight and not the Eternals. I'm willing to bet that we get Moon Knight pop up in whether it's Doomsday or Secret Wars. He's going to be a feature in it. I would guess you don't have Oscar Isaac and not use him in a role like that. Eternals, while that was a great cast, it's a little tougher because you can't really bring one of them back without bringing a large portion of them back.
Almost all of them, yeah.
The biggest thing, I think, and this even trumps the Spider-Man Brand New Day stuff, is Kevin Feige started talking about the X-Men. He confirmed Jake Schreier, the Thunderbolts director, is in fact going to be directing the film. And the biggest thing to me, I think, that he announced from the X-Men side of things is he confirms this is going to be a young team. And so it's going to be all brand new. We're not reutilizing any of the X-Men we have already seen past Secret Wars, and that we are going to get a young X-Men team. I just want to have make sure I find the proper tweet to throw it up here about that team. Well, we'll keep it with this one for now, but it's going to be a young team, and that when Secret Wars is done, it's not going to do a full-on reset, but it's going to, I'm paraphrasing, but it's going to streamline the universe. It's going to reset some things, not other things, and it's going to give us kind of a not full new start,
but a soft reboot.
But a soft reboot, essentially. Yes, Damon. And eventually we'll get a recasting of Captain America. Eventually we'll get a recasting of Iron Man. But not yet. We're starting with the X-Men, and it is throwing them into a universe where they are young, they are misfits, they do not belong, and that's the X-Men we are going to see, Damon. What do you think?
None of this is a surprise. This is stuff I feel like we've known, and everyone's like blowing up about this. Like, oh my god, the MCU's hey TJ, the MCU's rebooting. Hey Richard, the MCU's rebooting. It's like, yeah, we know that.
Wasn't everybody expecting this when Secret Wars was first announced?
They've been teasing this.
We're assuming, but now it's just like it's getting the official confirmation.
We knew this.
It's always cool to kind of get something set in stone, but yes, we also already knew a lot of it.
Like, we can imagine that some characters will eventually be recast, which obviously they said like eventually if they ever want to like recast Iron Man, they'll probably mention like Iron Man's like Tony and whatever, but you won't see him until it's like necessary to. But I can't imagine them like recasting like a Sam Wilson or recasting like Ms. Marvel or characters like that. That there's gonna be some characters that will crossover, but it's their. This is going to be their.
Deadpool's still going to be around for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be their like.
I don't know how long
this is
going to be around for. I think I don't know that we see Deadpool past Secret Wars.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
The only one of that team The only one of that team I would love to see personally, but since they're going with a young X-Men team, I don't think they're going to do it. I would have loved to see Daphne return as X-23 and just kind of
Nora.
like be the Wolverine for like a movie or so, and then like maybe her movie would be like trying to find Logan.
That'd be cool.
But
Something like that would be
doubt
cool, but I do think they want to start completely from scratch with the mutants, and
I agree.
they don't want to bring anything from that past in past Secret Wars because this is they're going to be their bread and butter, and so I think they're really going to milk it with the young group as much as they can. He also didn't confirm that Wolverine would be super short, but our friend Chris Killian asked if he would be a comic accurate short king, and he did say he would be trying to make the looks for the X-Men as comically accurate as possible, because where did he get his start in Marvel movies? The original X-Men movies, where that was very much shunned and pushed down. No, we got to give them black leather suits. We can't make them look like their comic counterparts. So I think we are actually going to be getting the full-on young crew here. Kevin Feige says, speaking of Deadpool, that there have been discussions with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman about Deadpool and Wolverine's future in the MCU. We're in touch with Ryan a lot. He says, and Feige jokes that Jackman will be doing it until he is 90. I am not going to I'm not going to discount the idea that like another specifically Deadpool and Wolverine alternate universe story happens in the future, but I think more than likely we're going to see them both in Secret Wars, and then we're not going to see either of these guys again. I think that is most likely the outcome, because I don't think Ryan Reynolds wants to do it too much more, and Hugh Jackman I think probably has one more in him for Secret Wars, reuniting with all his old pals, and that's about it. We talked about how they'll eventually recast Tony and Steve far down the line, but eventually will be recast. And another bit of Spider-Man content. Kevin Feige was asked about the possibility of Spider-Man meeting up with the Human Torch in the MCU, and he says that's one of the key relationships in Marvel Comics. We've never been able to come close to it before, and now it's in the realm of possibility. That's exciting. To me, that is Kevin Feige for, yeah, we're going to see them, but I'm going to need for you to wait to see it. I'm going to need for you to hold off so you can see it on screen.
To me, that's Kevin Feige for sure.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, I don't have any plans for it, but it's exciting. We can do it now, and that's pretty neat.
And Joseph Quinn really wants it to happen. There was this quote from one of the, I can't remember which premiere, but he said that he really wants to team up with Holland because he said he's the best Spider-Man that we've ever gotten, and he's down for it. I can't wait to see it happen.
Rich, I'm sure you've been busy following all this news, writing about it for the Direct. Is there any other pieces of Marvel stuff we didn't touch on that you want to bring up before we get out of here?
I think we just about covered it. I mean, obviously, we have so much craziness to look forward to after Phase 6 ends. Whatever this next saga of stories is going to be called. We only have a couple more years of this, and it's going to be a crazy finish till the end. No matter how many projects or how few projects we get.
Damon, how about you? Anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
I joke about it a lot, TJ, but we really are in peak sure territory where almost anything is possible at this point. I am glad that there was like some sort of clarification, although it's very cagey and very vague, apropos to where we are getting with like James Gunn, right? And how the two of them have been managing and responding to both of their worlds. Because there was a fantastic sit down with Horowitz and Gunn talking about the movie, talking about the future, where a lot of like that James Gunn news came from. And Gunn was just sitting there just like, I would love to just answer all these yes and no, just keep firing at me. And Feige's a little bit more cagey about it, a little, like, as we said, a potato word salad of nothingness, where he'll give you a long-winded answer, but in the end, there's not much context in there, where like Gunn will be like, yes, we're working on this. No, it will not be out this year. No, it will be not out next year, but yes, it's coming, type of thing.
Gunn is much
differences
more
between the two I find very fascinating.
Yeah.
One last point, just because I am excited about this Fantastic Four movie and the vibes of the Superman movie and just some of the things I am hearing about the F4 movie, something that Jenna Anderson mentioned, and I actually love this thinking, is the entering of like the silver age of the superhero movies and how they can be a little campier, a little brighter, a little bit more comic booky. And I'm starting to see that movie by movie, and I'm excited for it. It is funny how we are getting into X-Men, and X-Men, like the good X-Men, to be honest, is very Bronze Age, but I feel like we can like mesh those two together. Um, I'm looking forward to it all. I think we're entering a very fun time. We got through a bit of a rough patch for a lot of people. Oh, there is one thing, TJ, that was mentioned, and I actually want to push back on this, and I want your thoughts on this, because something that Feige specifically said about why people haven't been coming to the movies had a lot of blame on Disney Plus
Yeah, I think that's
and the
BS.
homework. I totally agree. I think
Yeah.
that specific line is total BS. I think it's also a very difficult game to play because us three here, and also the people who are probably watching, we're all hardcore fans. We will watch everything because we want to watch everything. TJ, you specifically loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we're watching that right after Captain America 2.
Same.
And then
My
you
favorite
had
Marvel
the
memory.
favorite effect
not
of like
true.
what happened from the movie went straight into the show. And that's something that's like, wow. To me, that's what the movies and the shows should be doing. But that did not feel like necessary watching for maybe the movie people, but you got extra out of it. I still very much want connectivity of what happens in the movies affects the shows, but maybe not so much what happens in the shows affects the movies. I think that needs to be more of the idea and the mindset going forward, even if the shows are just going to be very Daredevil and Friends focused. I would kind of need it to be like, so it's a little frustrating where it's like, yeah, we're not doing anything from Thunderbolts is affecting Daredevil. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but I hope some things that do happen in New York City affect the show going forward. I hope when the reboot happens, the soft reset happens, that like something does kind of happen in that show, or they like finish up their story that they're telling, so that way after Secret Wars we could do some things going on there. And
I do think what he was saying was more so that it's less about that there was lots of homework for people to do and more that there was so much content. The public perception was that, oh, do I need to do homework? There's so much that I just won't watch anymore. But to me, the bigger issue was the introduction without any follow-up of where we get these characters again. Yes. We get Shang-Chi with a great movie and a whole ass Avengers joining the Avengers team post-credit scene. Never referenced or seen again. We have Doctor Strange going to the dark dimension with Clea, never seen again. We have Thor introducing Hercules for a big epic battle, and it's never seen again. We have Eros teaming up with the Eternals for a big new trip, and it's never seen again. We have all these new characters like Moon Knight and et cetera, introduced on Disney Plus, and outside of Loki, are we going to... I guess Loki we haven't even seen again in movies either, so I take that back. But like, we don't see any of these people outside of Ms. Marvel, and so to me, it's more about all the introducing of characters without a follow-up plan. And even though there was no plan in the original first three phases either, they were just winging it. They had these post-credit scenes that actively connected to the next movie, and above all else, they tied it together. To me, there's been no tying together, and it's like, we're getting another Avengers movie. But before the Doomsday and the Secret Wars, I really think there should have been a smaller Avengers movie where we just get to see all these characters we met again. Or if not an Avengers movie, a Shang-Chi 2 that has these characters reenacting with each other. Midnight Suns, if you can't get Blade to work, that brings in a bunch of characters we've seen, like in
Werewolf by Night and
Moon Knight, etc., Agatha, etc. And so I do think that's been the biggest issue, is the lack of follow-up, the lack of cohesiveness, as opposed to the perception of homework. But I do understand the point. Damon, final thoughts and what's coming up on the Comic Corner this week?
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, and we've said it before, but I just love this point about how the movies set up the next movie. That was the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene set up the next movie. And then at some point, they started setting up the next movie in that franchise, which was frustrating. And the first one I could think off the top of my head is Doctor Strange 1. The first Doctor Strange movie, which set up Mordo being like, I'm going to kill all the wizards. It's a throwaway line in the second movie.
Yeah.
And it didn't like set anything up. What that one post-credit scene did, though, is it did set up Thor, which was next because it had Thor coming in. We need more of that. We got it in Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
I assume we're going to get it in Fantastic Four. And going forward, that's what we need, is those post-credit scenes to be essentially teasing the next movie, not the next movie in that franchise of a whole. I need things to connect that way more, and I think that's what the fans want. It's coming
and
up
if
on
not the very next movie, a movie that is already in production.
On the
movie
horizon.
that they know is happening.
And that's part of what I've been enjoying about hearing, like, oh, this post-credit scene may have been filmed by the next movie, and that's happened before previously in the MCU too, and I think that works very well. What's coming up on the Comic Corner? So we already mentioned tomorrow we have a fantastic sit-down interview with Murwa Ayodele. He is the writer of the current Storm series, which is fantastic. Storm fans, y'all show up. Y'all show up. If there's one mutant, one XMen character that deserves their own movie outside of Wolverine, it's Storm, because Storm has such a fantastic story. And you can go so heavy into her character. Coming up this week, comic-wise, on our regular show, we have Absolute Martian Manhunter, Absolute Wonder Woman. It's Jeff week, everyone. Get excited for Jeff the Landshark content, because Jeff is also in Gwenpool number 3, where Gwen Stacy has come back to life, maybe, who knows, and has killed Gwenpool. What's going on, Marvel? Chaos.
Richard, thank you so much for joining us today. And where can the people find you on socials?
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me. It's always a pleasure. You can find me at Richard Nebens on Twitter, all the socials. Hoping to be a little more active on like Instagram and TikTok here in the coming weeks, months, whatever. We got a lot of fun stuff to look forward to over the next couple of weeks, especially with Fantastic Four. And I got a shout out to you, TJ, too, because you set me up with a fantastic interview here in the next couple of weeks that I'm going to be doing for Agents of Fandom. Can't say much about it right now, but
It's confirmed. You can let it rip if you want.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to be interviewing the executive producers from Iron Man and His Awesome Friends, which is a Disney XD show. A nice kids show. Should be a lot of fun. That's going to be sometime next week. We're going to have that on Agents of Fandom. I am very excited to get back in the interviewing chair. I love talking to people about anything and everything, especially movies. And I'm excited to be back and a little more active with Agents of Fandom here going forward, and especially with all my stuff going on at the Direct. And we've got a great next few weeks into summer, and it should be a great end of the year closing out 2025.
Heck yeah, I couldn't agree more. And we got lots of stuff coming still this week. You can find my interview with Fantastic Four First Steps director Matt Shackman up on the Agents Fandom YouTube page. Like Damon said, we got a double dose of Comic Corner this week, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Friday, we will have our Fantastic Four interview. Thank you so much. Review. Interview already dropped, but review and immediate reactions. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. That'll do it for today's episode. But like I said, we got episodes dropping every single day this week. So on behalf of myself, Damon, and Richard, we will see you next time. Peace.